What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. And yesterday's Nationals and Padres game, things got a little bit spicy, not just between players, but fans and players as well. Shohei, the unicorn, he went yard, but he missed first base. He brought his bat to first base, and then the White Sox stole the lead. We'll talk about that later. The other former AL MVP, Aaron Judge, he belted a grand slam. He's on pace to just miss 60 home runs again. And Gunnar Henderson, we know that he's going to win an MVP at some point. He is a shortstop, a 22-year-old shortstop on pace for the second ever 50-20 season. That's 50 home runs and 20 stolen bases. He's 22! We're going to talk about all of that and more in today's MLB recap, but don't forget, Recap is presented by SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. And if you have not downloaded Underdog Fantasy, today is the perfect day to do so. They are running an Aaron Judge special. If you're a brand new user who uses my code Fuzzy, they'll give you a free Aaron Judge pick'em. Do not miss out. They also have a UFC pick'em coming up pretty soon. All right, so we're going to kickstart today's recap with some chirping between the Nationals, the Padres, and also the Nationals versus a Padres 60-year-old fan. We'll talk about that after the game. Apparently, Kyber Ruiz did not get this, Profar's walk-off celebration. He had an issue with him being towards the Nationals dugout and celebrating with the fans on that side of the field. Okay, bro. Profar then got hit on the shin guard with the 98 runaway fastball from Mackenzie Gore, but I don't think it was on purpose. That's why Mackenzie Gore was allowed to stay in. Mike Schilt, the manager of the Padres, he's like, why is he not gone? So he's ejected now. Not only is Mike Schilt gone, but this baseball is as well. Manny Machado launched a 2-run home run and sent San Diego into a frenzy. Now the Nationals, they did storm back to even things up, and they actually went up a few after Lane Thomas smoked a triple, and Jesse Winker, who got into it with the fan after the game, he blasted off for a 2-run home run, and he really admired it. He was taking his time trotting around the bases. But do you guys remember that one year where San Diego became Slam Diego? Well, after Cronenworth and Solano stole the lead back, Profar, he brought back Slam Diego. He shut up the Nationals, who apparently were not done talking after taking the L. Jesse Winker and a 63-year-old Padres fan got into it. Jesse Winker, he said he's not afraid to beat up a 63-year-old. Yeah, that actually happened. Check it out.
That's cheap. That's bushly.
All right, so we know that Judge also hit a grand slam like Profar, but we have to talk about what happened before that. The Yankees, they loaded them up in the first, and Mets lefty DJ Peterson, he said, nuh-uh. He struck out 3 in a row to get out of that jam. Garrett Cole, on the other hand, he loaded the bases but could not strike out 3 in a row. Tyrone Taylor, he drove in 1, but it could have been 2 if Pete Alonso wasn't a Brontosaurus with 5 speed. Verdugo, that was a nice toss to home. Now, the Mets eventually did get their second run. Mark Vientos, he socked one, and then the former Yankee Harrison Bader, he got payback. I mean, that's the team that DFA'd him, so it's a revenge game, kind of. Garrett knew it was gone as soon as Bader made contact. Vientos again. That's 3 straight at-bats with a home run dating back to Sunday. Brandon Nimmo, he's been pressing the power button a lot as well. So the Mets, they're just running away with it. I think that's 4 home runs in one game versus Garrett Cole. But the Mets are being powered by Grimace of McDonald's. Now the Yankees finally got on the board. Soto, he barreled up his 19th home run, and Yankees fans were not too happy with the bat flip. They're a fan base that does not like the bat flip when they're losing by 5. I'm just throwing that out there. It actually ended up getting worse for the Yankees. The Mets are now up by 8 when the captain, he flipped the script with one swing. His 29 home runs and 75 RBIs would be great for a season, but 79 games, he has a 199 OPS plus since 2022. Aaron Judge versus prime Mike Trout. Who would you take? Let me know in the comments. Unfortunately for Yankees fans, the hole that Garrett dug was just way too deep. The Yankees lose again, but not to fear. The Guardians are here. Cleveland already took game 1 versus the Orioles, making the Orioles 0 for their last 4. Gunnar Henderson, he wants to end that losing streak. This kid has actually been unreal. He turns 23 in a few days. He has 25 home runs, 13 stolen bases, and 7 outs above average. That is an MVP level shortstop season in a full season. Just like Aaron Judge, what these guys are doing in the first half is unreal. Now, both teams, they were trading scorched base hit after scorched base hit. Cleveland, they took the lead back after a 2-run liner off the bat of Gabriel Arias, only to have James McCann tie it. Rookie Jordan Westberg, he lasered one as well. Gunnar, he scores all the way from first base. Now, the Guardians did fight back. They tied it on a Brian Rocchio single, and Steven Kwan, he did his thing. He singled for the lead. J-Ram, he's up with 2 on. He just teed off for his 21st home run. Jose last year had 24 home runs and 80 RBIs and 156 66 games. He has 21 home runs and 72 RBIs in 74 games. He just passed Manny Ramirez for the third most home runs ever by a Cleveland player. Baltimore, they broke out the boomsticks as well. This is a crazy game. McCann and Cowser, they went back-to-back. By the way, if you ever watch an Orioles game, it might sound like they're booing Colton Cowser. They're mooing because he's a Cowser. It's now 8-6 in the 7th inning. Baltimore has them loaded up. There's no way. What a double play. Cleveland escapes the threat, or did they? The only problem is that Andres Gimenez did not step on second base, so they do give up a run. They get out of the inning, though, and Bo Naylor, he hit the gaps. Tyler Freeman scores easy, and Bo, he motors all the way around for a 3-bagger. Gabriel Arias, he had a big-time day. 3 hits, 3 RBIs, but we don't really have time to show his third base hit because the former Guardian, Anthony Santander, he also has 21 home runs. Baltimore stole him in the Rule 5 draft. I mean, again, this game was insane. Emmanuel Clase, he got Alley to square up a 1-on-1 cutter straight to Steven Kwan in left field. Clase's 25th save gets the Guardians to 25 games over 500. They've won 7 games in a row. The Orioles have lost 5 games in a row. And oh, by the way, Cleveland now has the best record in baseball and the first overall pick in the draft in 3 weeks. Is this real life? Ooh, this is going to be a fun matchup. We have Cy Young candidate versus Cy Young candidate Andy Ibanez. He just flew out of nowhere to rob Philly catcher Marchand of a base hit. Marchand? I can't remember. Ranger Suarez gave up back-to-back base hits in the 5th inning. Trey, he then couldn't field one to help out, so nobody is out. Bases are loaded. Trey, he did field that one, but it's an RBI for Matt Vierling. Andy Ibanez, he added a 2 RBI base knock to his sick web gem from earlier, so he's really trying to make sure that Tarik Skubal gets the W. By the way, I am rushing because I have a lot to do today. I'm sorry. Riley Green, he has had such an awesome first half. It just kind of sucks that 5 or 6 other AL outfielders have been playing like Jesus Christ. He laced one past Harper for an RBI 3-bagger. Riley now has 15 home runs, 4 triples, 41 RBIs, a 137 OPS plus, and 9 DRS. Skubal, he had no issue with the Phillies offense. He put them in a blender over 7 wicket frames, 3 base hits, no runs allowed, 7 strikeouts. He's going to win Cy Young if he keeps this up, and I'm so mad I didn't choose him. I chose Cole over the offseason. But in that same video, I said that my heart was leaning towards Tarik Skubal, and like a dummy, I didn't choose him. Now, this is fun for me, a Vegas boy, a baseball fan in general. Bryce Harper, he tagged one. It's always cool to see him go the other way for a home run, but just like Judgy, Harper's home run cannot rally the rest of the troops. So with this L, again, Cleveland has the best record in baseball. And by the way, real quick, I do want to show off Skubal one more time. Since September of last year, he's basically first in everything. Shout out to Tarik Skubal. He's an absolute workhorse. I'm going to have some pity on White Sox fans. The Dodgers, they have Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. The White Sox do not. That is the first home run in a while that Ohtani did not hit over 430 or 450 feet. He only went 386 feet. He missed first base in the process. He carried his bat all the way to first base. It was kind of weird. But by the way, he also has an RBI in 9 consecutive games. He ties Roy Campanella, who by the way was insane back in the day, 9 consecutive games with an RBI. Shohei is just the real deal. And he even said that without the pitching, he's been able to focus more on hitting. Is he going to pitch like he used to? Obviously, he's still going to, but maybe every 7 or 8 days instead of every 6 days like he did with the Angels. I don't know. Welcome to the home run party. Benny Biceps, he and Eloy Jimenez, they both had some RBI extra base hits. Benny with a 2-run blast. Ellie with a rocket double. I wonder if Eloy is going to get kind of thrown out there as some trade bait as well. But remember what I said, the Sox don't have Ohtani or Freddie Freeman. Freddie with the 2-run Oppo Taco, he ties it at 3, and the Unicorn, he steps up and he puts the Dodgers back up by 1. Ohtani, he leads the NL in batting average and home runs, so he's just a few RBIs behind Marcell Ozuna for the triple crown. Evan Phillips, he's now 13 for 13 in save opportunities. He goes 1, 2, 3. The Dodgers, they're on pace for 100 wins after they pick up their 50th W. I'm going to show the Mariners and Astros games back to back because the Astros, they're like that warning sign on the sidecar windows. The objects in the mirror are closer than they appear because the Astros, they're on fire lately. They're closing in on first place. Just like Paul Skeens, Luis Castillo gave up a first pitch home run to Yandy Diaz, who by the way is all the way back. Jose Siri, his single made it a 2-0 lead for Tampa when this swing put the tie in Ty France. France belted a mammoth 2-run home run in the 5th inning, only to then see his team lose the lead. Taylor Walls, he's trying to prove that the Rays made the correct choice by DFAing Harold Ramirez to make room for him. That is a 2-run triple for Taylor Walls. Ben Rortvedt, how did the Rays keep on getting away with this. He had 11 RBIs and a 35 OPS plus over his first 157 big league at-bats. This year, he has 21 RBIs and a 120 OPS plus and 146 at-bats. He wasn't done. Wait for it. Mitch Garver, he's deleting baseballs more often, which is big for the Mariners, but Tampa, they then went off for 5 unanswered runs. Richie Palacios, he scorched an RBI base knock, and there's Ben again. He made it a big 4 RBI night right before Isaac Paredes. Guess what he did? I'm going to give you about 2 seconds. You guessed it. He pulled a home run. The Rays bodied the Seattle Mariners. So again, the Rays got beat up 11-3 for their 3rd straight loss, while the Astros, they get to face a Rockies team that can't stop the bleeding. The Astros, they tallied 5 first-inning runs, which was their entire run count over 9 innings. They literally won the game in the first. Bregman, an RBI single. Everyone else did the same thing. RBI single after RBI single. Not a single run was scored, no pun intended, on an extra base hit or a home run, courtesy of the Astros. Yainer Diaz and Jake Myers, they tagged some baseballs for 1-baggers. Like, can we call it that? We call doubles 2-baggers and triples 3-baggers. Chas McCormick, another RBI 1-bagger. I'm going to say I don't care. Hunter Brown has been I think I can say very, very good lately. His 6 shutout frames with 7 strikeouts has now made it 7 quality starts in a row. He has a 1.4 ERA and 48 strikeouts over his last 43 innings. That is huge for an Astros team who has been absolutely decimated in terms of rotation health with losing Christian Javier, Jose Urquidy, Lance McCullers. Josh Hader, he did give up a nuke to Michael Toglia. I keep forgetting that Toglia is a switch hitter. He has 8 home runs and a home run in back-to-back games. Hader eventually got the 3rd out. He got all 3 outs via the strikeout. No save, though. The Astros, check this out. They're now 4.5 games back of first place. They've won 6 in a row, while the Mariners, again, like we said, they've dropped 3 straight. What about the Rangers? They've been hovering around a 500 record over the last 20-ish games or so. They win, then they lose. They win 2, then they lose 2. Seager, he split the gap for a double. And this Josh Smith guy, he is straight up playing like an all-star. Now, he's not going to make it over a Devers or a Ramirez because they have bigger names. But I'm going to keep on giving Josh Smith his flowers. We have more flowers to give to a guy who was also in a big trade just like Josh Smith. He came on over in the Joey Gallo trade. But real quick, Jackson Chourio, he ties it after bringing in Contreras. Don't forget, Jackson, he's 20 years old. He's hitting .298 with 12 RBIs in June. Joey Ortiz, that ball had a jetpack on it. It just kept carrying and sailing. Just like Josh Smith, who was also involved in a big trade. Joey Ortiz, he was traded for Corbin Burns, and Joey now has 7 home runs, a .383 on base because he's top 3% in taking walks. He has 6 outs above average. Crazy that Baltimore chose Jordan Westburg over Joey Ortiz, and they're both having monster seasons. The Orioles quite literally have prospects for days, weeks, years. By the way, the scoreboard is wrong. Rhys Hoskins made it 3-1. Again, it's 3-1, but Bryce Strang is having a crazy season as well. He showed off the defense. He robs Adolis, and then Willy Adames, he also robs Texas of a base hit. That is a special middle infield defensively. They both helped Bryce Wilson go 6 shutout in relief. The Brewers, they secured the series with an Elvis Peguero save. They win 3-1. Pittsburgh wanted some revenge after getting embarrassed by Ellie and company 24 hours prior. I can't show the full first clip, but as Hunter Green threw a pitch to Brian Reynolds, he lost his lunch. You know what I'm trying to say. He had some trouble with stomach issues his last start, just with the heat and dehydration. Andrew McCutchen had already got on base, so after Hunter said, I'm good, I can throw, yeah, that ball is not coming back. Brian Reynolds, he secures a 22-game hit streak with a 2-run cannonball, the longest in MLB this year. Nicky G, he tacked on another. This was after Rowdy Tellez stole a bag to get himself into scoring position. He's one of the slowest players ever. Gonzalez now has 27 RBIs in 40 games. Hunter Green, he allowed 3 straight hits in the 3rd, and Olivares made it 4 in a row. 1 scores, but 2 score on the lack of hustle. Fraley, he just kind of lobbed it in, and O'Neal Cruz, he's way too fast for that. He flies in to score. Jared, Mr. Triolo, he clears the deck on another Pirates cannonball, and I will give Cincy a little bit of credit for attempting a comeback. The man who rakes, he rips an RBI double. Spencer has 18 doubles already. Steer then scored on a Tyler Stevenson triple that probably should have been caught from Olivares, but he's not the fleetest of foot out there. The Pirates, they let them have their fun, but they still won the ball game. Rowdy Tellez's RBI single basically ended it. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they're just unable to find consistency in the win column. Just like the Rangers, they win, then they lose. They win 3 in a row, they lose 4 in a row, then they win a couple, and then they lose a couple. It's weird. Same with the Blue Jays, who keep on losing despite the fact that Vladdy has been hitting tanks. Boston, they flipped the script though, and not in a good way. Rafael Devers, he went 467 feet, 20 rows deep. That was a few feet shorter than Vladdy's 471-foot home run in Fenway a couple days ago. Now Devers, he hit a moonshot while his team ended up losing. Yoshida had an RBI double, but Kevin Kiermaier, he got one past Valdez for an RBI, and too much juice on that throw from Willie Abreu. Maybe he was trying to impress a girl in the stands, but that was an airmail. 2 scored to tie it, and then Vladdy, he's going to try the deepest part of the park. That is like a 410-foot 2-run double. Toronto, they got one more on a Justin Turner ground out. Dom Smith, he stopped it, which was a nice little play because this would have been a 3-run jack instead of a 2-run jack. George Springer, if he breaks out and Vladdy keeps on raking, I like the Jays offense a lot. Springer, he's only hitting 196 with 17 RBIs after that 2-run home run. Vladdy, he chopped one for another RBI. He's back to looking like an MVP runner-up. Remember, he only lost because Ohtani was born. Now, Boston did salvage a little bit of their dignity with a 2-run missile off the bat of Tyler O'Neill, who just like Devers has 16 home runs. Jarren Duran has one more chance to extend his hit streak, and it got snapped. Dang it. Toronto, they can make a bunch of noise, but it's just kind of crazy how when their pitching is great, their offense sucks. When their offense is clicking, their pitching sucks. This was one of those days where the offense erupted and the pitching, they did a nice job of just holding their own. Arizona's kind of had the exact same experience as the Blue Jays, but their offense is finally somewhat coming around and being consistently good. Corbin, he turned on a Joe Ryan fastball, and this dude, he better start the All-Star game. Ketel Marte has 16 home runs, throwing the 12 defensive run saves and 9 outs above average. He is an absolute lock to start, at least in my opinion. Jake McCarthy, he singled in the second, and Buxton, that is a long run, and he could not make the grab. It bounced out of his glove. McCarthy, he scores. Suarez, he's in there with an RBI triple. Tucker Barnhart, he secures an RBI. And then Byron Buxton and Jeffers, they completely ruined Brandon Pfaadt's gem. He went 4 scoreless, and then in the blink of an eye, Buxton now has 6 home runs, and Jeffers, he's up to 13 home runs and 41 RBIs despite the fact that he's had a big-time slump. He's missed a few games. It's tied at 4-4. Perdomo, he worked a walk with 2 outs in the 7th. He's on the move. The hit and run worked to perfection. Corbin, he blooped one in, and Ketel, he missed the barrel, but it ended up being a good thing. Willie Castro could not get the out, and Arizona, they end up taking Game 1 versus the Twins. Paul Sewald is officially in the double-digit save club. He has 10 and a minuscule 0.61 ERA. He's been incredible. The Royals losing ways just don't seem to have an end in sight. I hate to spoil it, but what is going on with the Royals? And it's not like they got embarrassed in this game. Michael Garcia, he stole his 18th and 19th bag, and then Vinny, he cashed in with an RBI. Seth Lugo, he was masterful again. He tossed 6 scoreless. He has a 2.29 ERA. He struck out 8 Marlins as well. He might start the All-Star game if it's not Tarik Skubal. He's out the game now, and look at how they lost their lead. Michael, he saved it and then lost it in the span of 2 seconds. He makes the diving play, but he cannot make the throw. Make it another throwing error. Jazz, he can move. Will Smith, he rushed the throw, and that's not an RBI for Jazz, but Miami does take the lead. Now, I don't know if I lied to you guys. Kansas City, they're not going away. The speedster, Dairon Blanco, he's at second base now. He stole the bag. Garrett Hampson, he sees lefties pretty well, but Jake Berger, he catches it. He belly flops for the final out. The Royals, they've lost 19 of their last 30 games. After Oakland took an early 2-0 lead against the Angels, Logan O'Hoppe showed his raw power. He got it just past the infield, and I know it's Mickey, but this ain't no Mickey Mouse home run. Mickey Moniak smashed a grand slam. That was 108 miles an hour off the bat. And oh my, Brent Rooker, he's 100% going to be the Oakland All-Star unless it's Mason Miller. Rooker now has 14 on the season. Finally, Joe Adele has been the worst hitter in baseball over the last month. That has to feel really good. He ripped an RBI double. Is Taylor Ward the Halos All-Star? I mean, it could be Luis Rengifo. It could be Ward, Anderson, maybe Zach Neto. But Ward now has 14 home runs and 41 RBIs. Rengifo's hitting over 300 with 20 stolen bases. Neto's been playing great defense. He's got pop. That's a nice double play to help out Ben Joyce. Carlos Estevez, check this out. He had gone 8 consecutive games without allowing a base hit. I didn't even know that. So the streak gets ruined, unfortunately, but he does get the save. He has an insane 0.93 FIP. since May 28th. He's been great for the last month. Wow, we start off the final game of the recap with a sick play from Christopher Morel at the hot corner. Dude's got a host piece. Conforto, he took advantage. He bounces back after a few base runners got on versus Kyle Hendricks, and David Villar, he smoked a sac fly. So it's 2-0 Giants, but then Nico Horner and company, they stole a run. So Nico stole second base, and then Michael Busch, he pushed one up the middle. Check out the Cubs defense. Kyle Hendricks, he locked in, and then he had to strike him out, throw him out to push his night to 7 innings. Any chance of a comeback kind of quickly faded though, because Colton Brewer, he stunk it up again after a Jorge Soler sac fly. Matt Chapman, he drove an RBIs number 32 and 33, and I didn't know that he had 20 doubles as well. He's actually been a bit unlucky, and he's striking out a lot less, so that's a good combination of things. San Francisco, they take the first two versus the Cubs, who are now 37 and 43. Well, everyone, that does it for today's recap. Now, before you go and watch the web gems, I do want to call your attention to one thing. My editor, Pesky Talk, he's getting decimated by MLB, so his channel will be linked below. Please go over and show some support. Copyright is still running rampant across YouTube, so we're going to try and figure it out. So show him some support. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the web gems.
Lined into center field, coming on is Judge, and he makes the...
Up the middle, going to be a tough play. Off balance throw. Oh!
Into right center field. Got some hang time. Sirius. That's a shot into right field. DeLuca to the wall. He's going to lead.
Nice scoop by Lopez. And he makes.
And Soto cracks another one. Center field. Bader gets over.
Stolen base, puts it in play here. Rojas, pirouette, throw, just